My name is Joanna Abel, and I'm currently a freshman at Baylor University. I am of the opinion that our current attendance policy does not serve a significant portion of our student base, and I would like to petition that if we are to keep our policy in the form that it is now, we need to introduce an appeals process so that it can be determined if one's absences should truly determine whether or not they fail a course. As it currently stands, the Baylor attendance policy states, to earn course credit in any college, a student must attend at least 75% of all scheduled class meetings. Any student who does not meet this minimal standard will automatically receive a grade of F in the course. So, as currently stated, our attendance policy does not allow any gray area for any reason when determining whether or not these absences should be held against a student, resulting in their failure of the course. I am of the opinion that this policy needs to change for a number of different reasons, one of the biggest being chronic illnesses. Now, as defined by House Ilsum studies in chronic illness and school participation of first-year students, a chronic illness or non-communicable diseases are defined as long-term conditions with a generally slow progression. These conditions are not transmissible from person to person and are characterized by the need for monitoring and management throughout the life cycle. Cardiovascular, oncological, respiratory diseases, and diabetes are some of the examples of health conditions that fall within this spectrum. Now, a number of different reasons can exist as to why somebody's absence may be affected by their conditions. I know for me, I have experienced a number of different health problems throughout my life, specifically that fall within the chronic disease spectrum. One of these being POTS, which is post-tachycardial stress syndrome. Now, for me, when I'm experiencing flare-ups of my condition, my heart rate will spike incredibly high and I will pass out. During these episodes, I find that I experience severe fatigue, headaches, vomiting, nausea, diarrhea, and other just extreme symptoms that can make it incredibly hard to pull through and go to class. Now, a 75% attendance policy may seem fine for most students, and genuinely it is for a lot of people, because classes that meet 3 times a week, such as Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, this policy will allow for 8 absences. On a Tuesday, Thursday, this will be 7 absences. But classes that meet once a week can only have 3 classes missed. Now, if you're a chronic disease sufferer such as me, this can be incredibly hard. I find myself having to open notes apps and keep track of every single absence so that I don't fail a course simply because I could barely get out of bed that day. There are a number of different reasons aside from just chronic health problems that people may exceed this issue, such as take COVID-19 for example. Currently, the CDC guidelines state that if someone is exposed to COVID and you do test positive, you are supposed to quarantine for 5 days. I believe that if we are going to keep the policy as is, we should introduce a secondary appeals process so that somebody can make it clear what were the reasons for their extenuating circumstances that led to their absences. What were, say, their grades beforehand? A student may have great academic performance if they're able to manage their condition well, but they might be missing that time period nonetheless, which is going to cause them to fail. Should a student that has an A in the course fail a class simply because they had 3 absences? Personally, I don't think so. I think there needs to be an appeals process for this reason. Now, if a student simply is skipping class, that is one thing. But again, that is part of what the appeals process is for, so somebody can show what the reason is. Even in the case of chronic illness, somebody is likely not going to have a doctor's note for every single time that they are out of the class, which is again why academic performance should be taken into account here. I know for me, when I'm experiencing these symptoms, I'm not going to go to the doctor every time because I know, wow, it's the cause of my reoccurring symptoms. It's something that's going to be managed throughout my life. This process should take into account not only those doctor's notes, those conditions, but the student's academic performance. If I'm doing amazing in a class, I have, say, a 99, but I miss 3 days, should I fail? Honestly, I don't think so. And I think that should be up to an elected body as well as the student professors to decide what truly should be the case.